are here. Ooh, things are a wee bit loud on the game right now. I'll keep it a little low until we get down with the intro. Hello, everybody. I am PyroFalkon, joined by the Akamura.
Hi.
And this is Not For Broadcast, a continuation of our first save file. So hopefully either you have seen that or you at least know the storyline. Not For Broadcast was provided for free to me by the developers, and I really appreciate it, but to be honest, I would have paid full price for it anyway, and it is currently 25% off on Steam. If you check the video description of this video, you can see a link to the game on Steam. For the love of God, go buy it. This is a great game. If you haven't seen the original, or the first part of this, you are playing as a news-producing editor, and you are in the booth of the newsroom while you are choosing camera angles and generally trying to keep your eye on the action to produce a nice little news package. But there's also a parallel sideline in this fictional country that has just voted a new political party into office called Advance. And when we last left off in the story, things seem to be going okay, but they are redistributing the wealth to everybody, and they have invented a thing called a transition center, which is to help aging people die gracefully. So it's things are getting a little serious. So this is the second episode. This just came out a few days ago. This is going to be a relatively short stream. It's in 3 parts, and as before, I've played it twice. The Akamura has not seen it yet, so I will be physically playing, but she'll be making the decisions. Because there's a lot that happens in this game, and the Akamura, by her own admission, has... Would you say it's a minor form of ADHD? A major form of ADHD?
I don't know. It's happening. It's occurring.
But either way, it's difficult for her to handle everything in the newsroom at the same time. So the way we're doing this is I will read out the fiction and let the Akamura make some choices, but otherwise I will let her do all of that stuff while I actually play the game. So let's get started. I'm going to keep my eyes on the volume. Because it's so heavy story-wise, I'm going to try not to talk over the actual broadcasts. So, yeah. Also, the loading times are pretty long because of everything that it is loading. Also, I'm probably going to get demonetized pretty damn quick because this game drops the C word that YouTube hates now.
The C word.
The C word, which is apparently now on pace with the N-bomb. For some reason. I don't know why YouTube has decided this. Oh yeah, so where we last left off, our last broadcast, we got electrocuted. And we passed out, and we had this weird surreal dream. So now... Day 154, the rhythmic beeping of the heart monitor brings you slowly back to consciousness. Opening your eyes, you're greeted by a semicircle of concerned faces. Your family by your side, a reassuringly familiar sight in these new surroundings. You blink a few times to clear the sleep from your eyes and bring everyone into focus. Looking up, Sam, your spouse, which they intentionally do not say gender, just in case. Looking up, Sam's face is a mixture of concern and frustration. Things haven't been great between you two lately. And Chris, that's Sam's sibling, who we refused to give our passport to so they could leave the country. Chris has not been helping things. Looming at Sam's shoulder with a sour expression, it's clear there's no love lost between the two of you. While Sam clearly is worried about you, the family scowl is obvious on both of their faces. So, how would you like to respond, the Akamura? You either reach a hand out to your spouse and say, "Thanks for coming, honey," or, "I can't believe I've just woken up to the gruesome twosome."
Let's do the first one. Let's not come out of a coma insulting my spouse and...
You got it. The worry for you wins out, and Sam takes your hand before leaning in to kiss your forehead. Of course, sweetheart, I could never have been anywhere else. For the first time in a while, you both genuinely smile at each other before you look at the rest of your family. Susie, that's your daughter, is standing next to Sam, less worried now that you're awake and smiling. You can see Sam's worry on your daughter's face, but it quickly turns to a frown when she notices you looking at her. I'm glad you're okay. It's muttered more than said, a grudging acknowledgement that despite your recent differences, she still cares. You can reply, thanks for coming, playfully groan, or you can say, yeah, thanks, and that's it, with a sigh.
Thanks for coming.
Okay. Susie can't help but smile back at you, rolling her eyes good-naturedly. It's great to have her here. Charlie, that's your son, catches your eye as he fidgets with the edge of the blanket. You cock your head and look at him, one eyebrow raised questioningly. As soon as you turn to look at him, you can see Charlie tense up. He's clearly battling hard to stay mad at you. You look expectantly at him, but he refuses to meet your gaze. You can reply, hey, I'm going to be fine, we'll be fighting again before you know it, or you can say, well, if he won't make an effort, why should you?
Let's do the first one.
Okay. You were pretty pro-family. You were trying to keep your family together. You just didn't want to give your passport to Chris. And
we
break
didn't have the
law.
money for
right.
Susie.
Yep. Charlie looks at you and grins, one of those infectious smiles that spreads around the room. It's always good to have him in your corner. Your smile fades as you notice your mother staring listlessly out the window. Despite all of your best efforts, she's not been doing well lately. You say, are you okay, Mom? Your mother starts, your call clearly shocking her out of her reverie. She turns to you and smiles, and you're grateful to see the increasingly rare recognition in her eyes. Yes, dear, of course. How are you feeling? You smile warmly and nod, but before you can respond, a doctor bustles in and ushers everyone out. She asks you what feels for like the 100th time, how you're feeling. You reply, surprisingly well, all things considered. Excellent. There's no real sign of any damage, just a bit of shock to the old system, pardon the pun. She smiles. Not that we'd recommend you do anything like that again, of course. After a couple days of rest at home, you should feel right as rain. The doctor turns to leave, but stops at the door. Oh, in the private room and care? The doctor gestures to your room, which you now notice looks rather expensive. Has all been paid for by a Mr. Bozeman. That's our boss at the news agency. He left those flowers and said not to worry, and to take the rest of the week off. He'll see you Monday, apparently. Seems like the least he could do. So at least we don't have to pay the medical bills.
Yeah, thank God.
Because money is very tight. Day 180. You come home from a particularly late shift to find the kitchen light still on, which isn't normally a good sign. Everyone's usually in bed by now. Softly opening the kitchen door, you find Sam at the table. Bills and papers are strewn in front of them, as well as what looks to be their second pack of biscuits. They give you a quick kiss as you take a seat next to them. Sam frowns and goes back to the bill they're holding. Hey, sweetheart, just looking at the numbers again. They look to the door of the pantry, now converted into your mother's bedroom. We've been doing our best, but I think Cassandra really needs a nurse to look after her now. Suddenly, the bills are all you can see. Fortunately, with the money that's been coming in and what we've been able to save, we've got more than enough to keep going. Sam smiles at you. I know things have been difficult, and the daily care won't be cheap, but she's your mother. We have to, really, don't we? So you can either gratefully smile back, of course you'll pay for the care for your mother needs, or your mother hasn't been herself for a long time, maybe it's time to consider other options.
Let's pay for her care.
Okay.
We can afford it. She's dying, for fuck's sake.
The sword of Damocles sheathed, at least for the moment, you grab the papers and stuff them into a drawer. It's such a relief to not have to worry about it anymore, or so you told Sam. Hours later, you're still awake, staring at the ceiling, thinking, how long will the money last? Ooh, you were well off because of your choices before. Good job. So the wealth numbers, now you're sometimes splurging. The wealth numbers have been added to episode 2. When you first start up the game, they recommend that you start a fresh game because now they're tracking money and things like that better than before. But Your choices, at least for the first episode, and now converted for the second, means that you're pretty well off, the Akamura, so you've made some good choices.
That's good.
All right. Hello, everybody in the chat. I have not mean to ignore you. Just wanted to keep going with some stuff, and I'm glad you caught the stream as well, Grimson. Yes, this is episode 2. We're going to do a full run. It won't take that long. Maybe a couple hours. I didn't time it when I ran through my tests. Yes, as Ginergy says, he doesn't remember the wealth tracking. That is new. They also are tracking reputation among Advance and the opposition to Advance, and you'll be hearing more about that soon. All right, now that we're in broadcast mode, I'll turn the volume back up, and again, I'm probably not going to talk much over this.
I'm sorry, I haven't had any food today.
Oh, you're fired.
Which ads do you want to run, the Akamura?
What do we have?
Crazy Neil,
Facial sabotage.
Advance Entitlements that says it must be played.
Now.
Eye of the Beholder, and Sports Board, the sports board game, and Remington's Fist's new product.
Let's do sports board, the sports board game. I guess Advance can be our middle.
Okay. The third VCR is broken, so we'll have to pop a tape and put in a new one for the third break, but
Okay.
what is your third choice?
Let's do Crazy Neil.
Crazy Neil? All right, I'll
Yeah,
put
because
that.
if I remember, Remington's Fist is kind of in the shitter right now.
Yes. All right, here we go.
Letting it go to your head.
She nearly blinded
10
me.
seconds,
I thought we were
everybody.
all part of a team these days.
Things are better, Jeremy, you know that. Just stop being so high and mighty and do your job.
You'll have me fine.
We've got 2 musical numbers coming up, Ginergy. Hang on.
I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawson. Our main headlines tonight.
The establishment strikes back. The World Council has agreed today to impose punitive sanctions on the people of this country.
The
Are you
sanctions, which
glad
are
with
broad-ranging,
punitive sanctions,
include
unhappy, or
restrictions on the
neutral?
supply of oil and gas, food,
Punitive
clothing,
sanctions?
and
Against the
even some
country.
medicine.
Neutral.
Neutral.
But how should we react? We asked the public.
What do you think about all these sanctions?
I doubt it make a lot of difference, Pet. I've lived through 2 world wars and I smoke 40 a day. And if that ain't killed me, I doubt this will either.
Thanks, Patrick. Fascinating stuff.
Popular Prime Minister Julia Salisbury has released a reassuringly brave statement in response to the World Council's controversial announcement.
This international declaration is nothing short of outrageous. We are a democratically elected government with massive popular support. We do not recognise these sanctions, and we encourage other socially progressive nations of the world to both resist and ignore them. Advance have struck fear into the heart of the international community by showing that it is possible to have radical change for the betterment of the many. And whilst I wish we could improve other countries as much as we have our own, we do not rely on the help of others to thrive. This country is entirely self-sufficient. We are a team, now more than ever. And this team is on your side. Thank you.
Defiant stuff. But what do you, the public, think of our government's...
What do you think of the government's stance? I have to keep pausing because I know the choices come a little fast.
Let's do negative.
Negative? Okay.
stance? Robin Short found out.
I was wondering if you could tell me what you think of the government.
What? That shower of iridescent pricks? Punishing success and rewarding laziness? They're taking this country down the bloody Swanee. And it's not just me that thinks so. My wife Iris, she agrees.
Over to you, fellas. Global mega corporation Remington's Fist today announced that trials have successfully completed on their groundbreaking male contraceptive product, Responsibility.
The drug has been passed by the government for general release.
How do you feel
but there's
about
small
the
print
male
warns that
contraceptive
in
pill?
recognition,
Neutral
side effects
because
can include
their
blurred vision,
toys
enlarged genitalia,
kill a
and
lot of
increased risk
people.
of stroke. No double entendre intended.
But what do you, the public, think of Sophia Remington's latest venture? Patrick?
What are your thoughts on the new male contraceptive pill?
They're doing that now, are they? I can't see what's wrong with a washable lamb's bladder. It was fine for me and Harold. All 17 of my kids use the same method to this day. And my firstborn even uses the same bladder.
Yeah.
Who cares?
Okay, all right, yeah.
The delicate sound of thunder. A frightening start.
I'm glad
for
I
commuters
did that.
this morning, who were confronted by a somewhat sinister sight as they left their trains.
Many travellers reported
What do you
feeling
think of
intimidated by the
disrupt
silent figures who stood
protesting
motionless outside
silently
every major
against the
station
government?
in the capital. Radical
positive.
extremist group Disrupt, who organised the show of strength, refused to comment on the meaning of the strange protest.
Or to apologise to this presenter for making him drop his morning bagel in surprise.
But how do we feel about these somewhat radical extremists and their upsetting methods? Robin found out.
How do you feel about Disrupt?
Ah, well, now you're talking. Ruddy hero, showing us not to take it lying down like Iris here.
So you both feel they're a cause worth supporting?
Oh, Iris doesn't speak on mine, but we're pretty sure there's still one in there, aren't we, love? Wherever it is, it loves Disrupt, fighting the yoinks for our freedom. And what could possibly be wrong with that?
Do you need me to get you some help?
Feast or famine.
Wow.
Resourceful doctors David Wong and Ingrid Sforsborg and Horgensford today announced their first successful harvest in Dante's taint. Although they can currently only grow a few fungal strains, the scientists seem to be staying positive, as the following picture shows.
The undauntable scientists chose to try and
This is
survive in the cave
one I
system
don't-
while
I
the
haven't seen
complex
before.
rescue
Positive.
operation inches forward
They're
uphill
living.
on dry land.
Let's hope they like stroganoff.
But with Advance planning to spend
I don't know what
an eye-watering
choices
amount
you've
of
done to
public
do that.
money
I
on
haven't
the
seen this
rescue
one
craft,
before.
we asked Patrick Bannon to find out what we should all be thinking about the accelerating costs.
What are your thoughts on the costs of the rescue?
Oh my God, Patrick Bannon, wash your mouth out with soap. You can't put a value on human life. You have to spend whatever it takes because one day you might be trapped in an underwater cave system and you would want exactly the same.
I don't think so, actually, because for legal reasons, we're actually not allowed within 31 yards of the coastline.
I am not a number.
What?
Applications finally open today for
What
the
a
new
specific
Advanced Team
number.
membership cards, a scheme by the government to allow
Holy
fast
shit.
access to all the new public services being introduced daily.
The team membership cards are entirely
Yeah, these are
but will be recognised as
basically
legal
ID
identification
cards.
by all
Do we
major
care?
organisations, including the police, banks,
Let's
and
do
postal
negative. We won the Cold War.
And of course, there's no charge, Jeremy.
It all seems too good to be true.
Well, you've always been a cynic. But most importantly, what should you, the public, think about the new team membership cards?
Team membership cards?
Absolutely bloody not. It's the thin end of the wedge, isn't it, Iris? First it's, can I see your identification, sir? And then it's, would you mind bending over the table, sir? So Sergeant State Educated and Constable Regional Accent here can stick their truncheon up your derriere.
Oh, crikey!
They should call
I
them
think-
what they are. They're bloody ID cards. Oh, for Christ's sake, what is it, Iris?
Oh, I'm really not happy, Algernon! I'm so sorry. Crikey.
And finally tonight,
Good on you, Iris.
popular sports personality Johnny Hamsleeves.
Johnny
and his
Hamsleeves.
fiancée, Tiffany Lamour, was spotted out today doing a little shopping for what many are already calling the greatest wedding ever.
We can only assume that Tiffany's latest
Do we-
show, My
this is the
Teenage
opinion on,
Secretions, was sold
their
better than
splash of
expected,
wealth.
As by the looks of things, the whole affair is about to become
neutral.
more expensive than Little C's shoe collection.
I don't know who that is.
But what should your opinion be of this extravagant display of wealth?
Don't really care, love.
Wise words there.
Later tonight, in a bit of a switcheroo, it'll be Jeremy in the culture chair, spitting rhymes with popular rapper Jay Zus. And then we'll both be chatting with a familiar
Oh,
team
shit.
of thespians
All right.
set to take the nation
Headlines
by
are
storm.
done. Now we get to
Again.
the main news.
That's all coming up on tonight's
National Nightly News.
They've changed the way the interference is now, so I'm having to match the green wave on the right with the yellow or the white wave in the background of it. It's a little funky to get used to, but it's whatever. I actually find it more interesting than the old mechanic of just moving the wheel.
Yes. I was looking at
First
that.
tonight, thankfully, some news as we return to our main story.
The World Council today agreed that punitive and potentially illegal sanctions should be imposed upon this country. The sanctions, which come into effect immediately, aim to stop the flow of food, fuel, and even some medicines from reaching your pockets.
Tonight, we have guests from across the continent to discuss this unprecedented situation. For advance, Peter Clement is at his home in Lamfordshire. Are you there, Peter?
Yes, I can hear you, Jeremy. Thank you for having me.
A momentous day, Prime Minister. Are you shaken?
Oh, I don't scare that easy, I'm afraid, old son. And neither do the people of this country.
Well, joining us is Ivan Vodovich, Foreign Minister of Urkistan. Ivan, thank you for being here.
Great pleasure. You, Megan Wolf, are like strongest guard at Labour camp who wake up inside body of crazy, expensive prostitute. In my country, you will be worshipped as a god.
Okay.
Minister, as one of those arguing most strongly for these sanctions, how do you feel about Advance's defiant stance?
Advance is like man who think he have big career in movies land, when actually he in dirty sanitarium, screaming at mirror and holding tiny penis in hand.
He's clearly not from Svenland, then. We have like some of the cleanest mental health facilities in the continent, yeah?
And welcome to Svenland's Minister of Mojo, Björk. I'm sorry, we don't appear to have your surname.
It's just Björk, yeah. We don't use things like socially
Björk.
divisive surnames here, yeah?
Minister?
It's just Björk, yeah.
Right, Björk. Your country spoke in favour of Advance at the World Council today, but you were noticeably absent when it came to the actual vote.
Well, what a surprise. The hippies didn't show up for the fight.
Actually, that's quite racist, because if you must know, we were going to go to the whole, like, vote thing, yeah? But it's actually the Festival of Furelands here at the moment, where we honor the old generations. So, like, we all had to work our grandparents clean, yeah, whilst the vote was happening, and that's, like, a really, really time-consuming process, actually.
You're like a sissy man. You have this expression, sissy man, is like man with tiny penis who like to wash more than once a week.
Actually, that's quite homophobic, yeah,
Oh,
because...
stop winding him up, Ivan. We're not back at the Grange now. Sorry, Jeremy. Ivan and I used to play golf back in my media days.
Yeah, he always wins.
Nothing gives him greater pleasure than grinding people's gears. The more publicly, the better.
Peter, you're like man with tiny penis who think he have tiny penis, but actually he discovered that. Oh, could it be? No, it's tiny penis.
Ivan's just worried that when the rest of the world sees how well we're doing, they'll notice all that dosh that he's got squirreled away. Because that's what these sanctions are, Megan. They're the last pathetic gasp of an establishment in collapse. Wolves at the gates, Ivan, old mate.
Good. It can join others on my wall.
Actually, in Svenland, we have, like, serious animal welfare legislation. And, like, my friend Helga, she got arrested, yeah, for killing a butterfly that was hovering over her fuel thing. I mean, in English,
It's Svenland,
I used to know a girl called Johnny Sandwich.
ruled by
A
Sven,
cracker too.
the reindeer who sits on our couch.
We seem to be wandering a little from the news here.
That's human interest, Jeremy. The real people behind the headlines and all that. So if you're watching, Jan, give us a call.
Really?
Yeah. Let's see if we can't organise a reunion.
Chris, I'm not sure about that. I'll have to run it past Mrs. Clement first, eh?
Peter, you're like man trying to empty ashes of mistresses into oncoming vent. Soon you have tiny penis and beard full of secrets.
in Svenland, we don't really go in for all that restrictive monogamy stuff here. We're kind of flawed, actually.
Okay, well, it seems that we are running out of time.
Yes, so before we go to the break, briefly, if you would, gentlemen, with the people of this country facing shortages and power outages-
Possible shortages and power outages.
Yes, of course. Thank you. Possible shortages and power outages. Can you summarise your thoughts for us, Minister Björk?
Well, from here, yeah, you all look a bit stupid really arguing about outdated divisive concepts like money. In Finland, we replaced currency with a system of bodily fluids back in the 1970s, and that's like really hard to sanction, actually.
Thank you, Minister Vodovich.
Your country is like man who think he invented perfect trap for giant mutant hairy bear. When really, he's just standing in field
Holding his tiny penis, yes. Thank you, Minister. And finally, Prime Minister Clement.
Let me talk to your viewers here, Jeremy. Don't worry, everybody. Don't be afraid. Don't even lose a wink of sleep. We knew the rest of the world would react this way, and we're ready. As my old man used to say, you can't make a shite pie without blocking a few toilets.
Thank you, Prime Minister.
Reassuring words there.
We'll be back
after these messages.
1 minute back.
Hey, Peter, I over your way this weekend.
Can't
you fancy
make
a
a
quick
shite
nine?
Yeah,
pie
sure, front or back.
without
That's what I hope you're asking Megan Wolf for me.
She's out of your league, mate.
Thank you for the correction.
Well, you have to be more careful. It's all part of his long-term plan to get fired live on the news at 6 in front of the nation.
Can someone warn him it's going a little too well?
Ooh, A+. Okay.
New government censorship should show up in blue. Same as regular censoring. Keep an eye out for the advanced blue waveform.
So, what that was, just to re-explain that, Bozeman is saying that the government wants to start censoring certain language, and it'll show up as a blue wave that I can censor. Do you want me to censor what the government wants, or do you want me to let everything go? It's not quite a binary, but I kind of need to know in advance to know how to play this for you.
Let's see what they want to censor and decide from
It'll be
there.
a song. It'll be the first song, and it's a lot, so that's why I kind of need to know how much.
No, we're not censoring this shit. Sounds
Okay.
like it's gonna be fun.
Oh yeah, it's a damn good song.
Sorry,
it's a
boss
bop,
man.
as the kids say.
He put that get up on himself. I'm just saying.
Going in 5, 4, 3.
Welcome back. I'm Megan Wolf. Later, we have an exclusive first look at a theatrical sensation everyone's going to be talking about. But first, it's time to go over to the culture spot with lovely old Jeremy Donaldson, who's joined by a very special guest. Jeremy.
Thanks, Megan. I have the honor and privilege of being joined by hip-hop royalty. He's been called the son of the streets and the father of truth. Not sure how that works, but whatever. Let's welcome Jesus.
Thanks, Jeremy. Yeah, it's a real honor to be here on your show, The News. You know, as a kid on the streets, I used to watch you through a window of the shop, so to be here right now is crazy.
You've had quite the journey to be here today. Can you tell us about it?
Well, you know, I try not to, well, you know, the past is the past, and I don't like to dwell on it.
I understand you.
But yeah, man, the streets is all I remember. Like, my mother donated me to a charity shop soon after I was born. Elderly lady took pity on me. You know, she let me sleep on a pile of crime fiction until I taught myself how to walk.
Wow, that's quite the childhood.
And she died tragically. Right there in my arms, man. You know, I remember a tear falling as she laid there next to the used homeware. And in that moment, I became a child of the streets. I was just 18 months old.
What a tale. What a tale. You're known for your direct and honest lyrics. Was your style informed by your troubled past?
Oh, like I said, I try not to talk about it. It's just too hard.
Of course.
But my first album is about the story of the first 4 times I stole, so I wouldn't starve. A small group of infants came to see me as their de facto leader. They call me Mr. Cheese Slice. Anyway, we were like a family.
So it would seem. Recently, you've been quite outspoken about the government.
Yeah, fuck the government. Fuck Advance. Fuck Peter Clement.
What is it that you object to?
That's
so
why he's being
vehemently?
censored.
Yep.
Well, you know, they stole from us. They're taking our money and spending it, man.
Redistributing it. Actually, homelessness has been all but eliminated in the last couple of months.
So?
Surely that's a cause close to your heart?
Yeah. Nah, of course, man. Very much so. I just mean, like, why do I have to pay for it, you know?
You don't.
Jesus.
People have been rehoused on property seized from the historically wealthy. And that couldn't have been you, could it?
Look, yeah. I worked hard to be here. I built this from nothing, and I deserve to be rewarded for that.
Would you say you worked harder than, say, a farmer or a care worker?
I don't know. But if people are taking something from my music, choose to value it, buy it, who's to say I don't? And no one can take that away from me.
Not even to help, say,
What an articulate argument.
Mr. Cheese Slice.
What is it you're trying to say?
I just don't understand where you've placed yourself politically. I mean, is it ideological or is it tactical?
Well, it's more of
Or
like...
maybe it's hereditary.
Stop trying to tie me in knots with your words, Jeremy. I let the music speak for itself. And the people agree with me.
Well, that remains to be seen. But you have given me a very easy segue out of a conversation that I promise you was much more painful for me than it was for you. So here he is with his hit song, Mrs. Ludlow's Tears.
Oh no, I'm going to do something a little different. It's a new single I've been working on.
Oh, so this is unapproved, is it?
Yeah, you love it.
Excellent. Don't worry, we've got a state-of-the-art censorship system. What's the worst that could happen? So here he is with a new song. Aren't we lucky? It's Jesus!
First, you're gonna pay up. You're gonna pay back.
Well, we're all different races from many different places. At any given moment, only one could be the greatest. So you can feel elation from your participation. Still two leaders in this motherfucking nation. Now we're getting sanctioned, talking about expansion. Why does Julie S require a massive fucking mansion? So fuck all your schemes. I don't need your freaky team, and I don't need your help to achieve my fucking dreams.
So yeah, leave the blue sensors off.
You got it.
Get every single one of you's a bit Jesus. And you can call me crazy, cause no one ever pays me. But I won't waste a lifetime being motherfucking lazy. I may be inventive, my taste may be expensive. But why would I get out of bed with no fucking incentive? Although it's contravention of your obvious intention. I like to eat a little of the fruits in my invention. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. The best of the praise of the crest of the wave. Cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's fit as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Can't just pull the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork.
This song slaps.
Right? I knew you would love it.
The folks that feel the burden of their motherfucking loved ones. Ones who had plenty like a motherfucking Bentley. The ones who now finding that their bank accounts are empty. The ones of aspiration who had to flee a nation. The ones who built a business out of dreams of perspiration. There's all sorts of people, the good and the evil. It only takes a glance to see we're not all equal. You make us the same, but we're not all the same. All our dreams, all our schemes, all our means are not the same. And the best of the praise of the crest of the waves. Cause we're only equal people when we're motherfucking slaves. Gonna take this fact, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to pull the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Get out of your seats, get your asses in the streets. Set a fire in the building, let him feel some fucking heat. Take your hate to go getters, you're squilling bet letters, and burn them on the pyros of advances fucking letters. Gonna take this fast, gonna stain it red. Gonna slam it into Peter Clemens' motherfucking head. Cause he's thick as shit, he's got a job he's unfit for. Time to steal the castle with a motherfucking pitchfork. Chase that dream, you don't need a fucking team. And advances, little dances aren't as harmless as it seems. Cause they're stale and corrupt, then you're angry or wrong. Then your hearts and your minds and your fists to destruct.
That was terrible editing on my part. I cannot nail the beat changes on that
Jesus
song.
there with his new song. Thank you so much for joining us in the studio. I'm sorry. I may not agree with you, but I'd just like to offer you an apology. I've just been told that there was some kind of issue upstairs, and an attempt was made to censor some of your lyrics.
What? Are you joking?
I'd just like to say to you and everyone at home that this was a mistake.
This is absolutely ridiculous. I cannot believe this.
Here at the National Nightly News, we pride ourselves on remaining neutral, unbiased, and independent of any outside interference. You have my word. We will never censor ideas. Back to you, Megan.
Well, a bit of dangerous
Just the
language there,
swears.
sorry about that. Well, thank you to little Jeremy Donaldson for providing our culture spot. Coming up, we'll be speaking to a couple of familiar faces about their upcoming dramatic outing. Don't go away. We'll be right back after this.
That's the ads.
Jenny, this is fucking outrageous!
Thank you so much. If you could just come with me.
No, this is ridiculous. Who do I complain to?
This is just a mix-up, I'm sure. Now, if you come with me, I really do have to ask
Oh,
you to
trust me.
leave it.
My father's going to hear about this.
I understand.
His father is going to hear about it.
I don't know what you're talking about, Jeremy.
Ugh. I have never gotten above an E on that because I always blow it during the song.
Just a reminder.
Yeah. Shut up. I know about the VCR. All right. So how you doing there, the Akamura, after that?
That was a good song.
Right? You're going to like both the songs.
I'm trying to place this game politically, and it's very libertarian.
Some of them are, yeah. Jesus is definitely against the government, but it's more like he's just kind of against money being taken from him. Hey, do you remember Jeff Algebra?
That guy?
Yes.
Wait, is that Mr. Bear?
Yes. That's the guy who sang Mr. Bear. He's heavily involved in this one.
That's where your dreams go
Okay,
to
then.
die.
We're going live in 10 seconds. Opening on camera 1.
Sorry.
5, 4, 3. Welcome back, and no, you're not mistaken. Sitting across from us are some very familiar faces.
You really are too kind, Megan. It was only a yogurt commercial, but I'm still proud of it.
Here to talk about his new show, we're joined by National Treasure Tommy Harris, the National Theatre's Philippa Raven, and National Deficit Jeff Algebra.
It's so lovely to have you all. Tommy, would you like to tell us about the show?
You know what? I'd bloody love to. It's about me. It's about my life.
And where did the idea come from?
So, right, picture this. Their legs akimbo, mid-session, sweat is pouring out of me like an immense hog. And then Cindy comes in, she says, Pete's on the phone.
That's Peter Clement, the Prime Minister.
Yeah, Pete's actually a really good mate of mine.
Oh, is he really?
Yeah, no, he comes to training sometimes. He's actually a pretty good goal sweeper. Anyway, so, Pete, he says, Toby, he thinks my name's Toby, see? He says, how would you like to spread your message of team spirit and cooperation across this fractured nation? How would you like to really make a difference in these desperate times?
What did you say?
Yeah, right, yeah.
So, Jeff, the question on everyone's lips is, what in God's name are you doing here?
Well, after the success of my debut work and all the people that I've touched, I knew that I had a career in theatre. Yeah? I've always been an admirer of Tommy from afar. So when my manager phoned and said that I'd been offered the gig as director, I was ecstatic. I whipped my trousers off and got straight to work.
Why did you do that?
I do all my best work with my trousers off.
Yeah, I've been told that too.
No, I wouldn't say so.
Right, Tommy, sorry, would you just give us a sense of what the show is actually about?
It's about how hard it's been for me and some of the struggles that I've faced. It like really getting to the heart of how tough it is to be me. I call it Tommy Harris, Jesus, that was hard.
Catchy. We actually have some clips of the process of the show. Would you mind telling us what's going on here?
Yeah, so the show is built around two things that are very important to me. It mixes scenes from my life as well as epic fantasy retellings of scenes from my life.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
I'm sorry, son. You're an embarrassment.
But Dad, you promised you'd come to my graduation.
Back, demon! Back to the hells!
What the fuck?
Philippa, what's it been like co-starring with Tommy Harris?
I've always dreamed of treading the boards at medium-scale regional theatres, Megan. And for once, this show really gives me something to sink my teeth into.
What's different about this show, then?
Tommy, Mr. Harris's show really lets me show my tremendous range as an actor. I've always suffered from typecasting, forced to play the same tired characters in every god-awful yogurt advert or godforsaken soap opera or, God forbid, a pantomime. But, you know, this show has really let me just go there.
Jeff, the viewers at home will be dying to know exactly what is it that you bring to the show?
Oh, good question. I think these guys would agree with me when I say that it's my my steady hand on the tiller, my arm round the shoulder approach that's really brought the production from strength to strength.
Absolutely right. Jeff's contributions are immeasurable.
Ah.
He was rock.
Can you give us a sneak peek of anything else that might be in the show?
Yeah, all sorts, yeah.
Yeah. We've got lots of exclusive first-hand experiences.
Jinergy just commented he's here for this insanity.
And some epic fantasy retellings of Tommy's time in the underground sports board scene.
You'll never take the sacred path!
And am I right in saying this was officially commissioned by the government?
Yeah, all paid for by the taxpayer, which, you know, to be honest, is actually a lifesaver, really.
Yeah, I think it's fair to say that without Advance's support, we'd have had to cut the finale.
Which frankly would have been a travesty.
Oh, God, Jesus Christ!
Goodness, and you do this every night?
Absolutely. It's a metaphor.
For what?
Death.
And the public are footing the bill, are they?
Too bloody right they are. Between the cost of my tour bus and the dry cleaning of my ties, I'm barely scraping a profit here.
Amazing. And where can the folks at home come and see this for themselves?
We're performing all over the nation.
And people can see it for absolutely free, all courtesy of Advance. Isn't that incredible, Jeremy?
Yes, it's unbelievable, Megan.
Well, thank you all so much for coming. Next time we see you, no doubt you'll have taken our jobs.
Yeah.
That's all we have time for tonight. Join us tomorrow when I'll be interviewing the world's most attractive horse. I'm Jeremy Donaldson.
And I'm Megan Wolf. And from all of us here, have a peaceful night.
That's the ads. Let's get reset for tomorrow, please.
Hey, we must stop bumping into each other like this, eh?
Oh.
I don't know if you caught that. Tommy Harris put his gum in Jeremy's hand at the start of the interview. And then at the end, he gave it right back. He gave it to Jeff. In that handshake. Anyway, I did pretty good on that one. I'm good at the non-musical editing, but I have trouble hitting beats. So that's the first of our three-parter here, the Akamura. How you doing so far?
That was ridiculous.
Wasn't it? See, that's about what I've been doing every time I do this. I need to practice the Jesus song. Sorry I'm kind of tanking your grade there, the Akamura.
That's okay.
But
It's
you
a
have
B.
received your full wages. Oh, I guess you bought the, you're in the, Eye of the Beholder company. Remember how you had to pick stock in a company? Oh shit. Holy crap, that's loud.
Kind of.
Didn't realize the music was so loud there. Early in the game, you're given the chance to purchase company stock, or you're given company stock. That's how Advance is redistributing the wealth. So you bought into Eye of the Beholder. So the idea is if you run ads on Eye of the Beholder, then their stock will go up.
Alright, so let's run some Eye of the Beholder ads.
All right. Okay, so Disrupt is happy with you. Advance is not happy with you. But Channel 1 News is trusting you more. Or you are more trusted. Your boss is another matter, but at least the people like the news more. All right. So, good job. What do you think so far of what's going on? I mean, as far as the story goes and everything.
It's interesting because it's complicated. You can't really put your own politics into it.
Yes. Things are also heating up in general. So, you can tell things are going to get serious.
Shit's getting real.
Shit's getting real. A ladder worth climbing. Alright, the Akamura, it's a lazy Sunday afternoon in summer, with you and Sam making the most of both kids being out of the house. You head into the pantry, taking a moment to remember what it used to be like when it was not your... Wait, what? Taking a moment to remember when it used to be your mother's room, before coming out with the last 2 slices of homemade cake. It's rare for you and Sam to actually get to finish sweet things in this house, and you savor every mouthful. Just as you take your last bite, you hear the sound of the front door slamming. That'll be Charlie getting back from the advanced go-getters. Do you remember you allowed him to join that? Okay. You can hear him practically running to come find you, and he's grinning from ear to ear when he finally does. I have some really big news! You and Sam play along, sitting attentively with bated breath. Ready? Charlie asks as you both nod enthusiastically. With a flourish, he reveals a new badge from his pocket and proudly presents it to you both to examine as he announces, "As of today, I'm a member of the first tier of Cohesion Cadets. That's way more stuff I'm going to be doing, and I'll be working some weekends, but it's really cool." So, Sam congratulates Charlie as you can't help but frown. This seems like a big step up for teenagers. Or, you and Sam grin back at your son. You're thrilled he's happy and doing well. So it's basically whether you have reservations about this.
He's really happy, and he's getting to the point where he's, like, making his own decisions. So let's go with number 2.
Okay. I'm going to give a little bit more volume here. I'm going to turn up the game audio a little bit during the news broadcasts because it seems a bit quiet. You've always had dinner as a family for the important events, and tonight is no exception. You've even invited Chris round as an olive branch. Or Sam did. And that's why, apparently. It'll be the last time you're all going to be together for a while. So far, you've managed to avoid fighting with Chris or Susie over politics, which Sam is no doubt grateful for. With her exams and your work, you've not seen much of Susie lately. Of course, Sam's glad Chris is there, but you're not sure what's worse. Their company, or the empty place at the table where your mother should be sitting with her ever-present mug of tea. "So, Alex, I believe you had a few words," Sam pointedly asks, nodding towards Susie. Your daughter cocks an eyebrow with a quizzical expression, and you can't help but see a little of yourself in it. Ah, yes, of course. "What's this about?" Susie asks, laughing as she takes a drink of her champagne-adjacent sparkling wine. Sam made a point this afternoon that it was a big day, and that you should all be just celebrating her achievement. "So, our little Susie." "Come on, out with it, Alex, we're waiting," Chris laughs, clinking glasses with Susie. Chris seems to be in good spirits at least, even if they're chiming in unhelpfully as usual. You can say, "I just wanted to say we're proud of you, Suze. Well done for getting into med school. Or you can say, "Please, Chris, I'm just trying to congratulate my daughter."
Number 1, this is about her.
"Oh!" Susie's mischievous smile becomes a grin as she gets up, comes round the table and gives you a big hug. "I'm gonna miss you." You can see Sam start to tear up as they stand and join the embrace. "Miss us? Are you going somewhere?" A good question. Susie laughs, breaking the hug. "No, you're not getting rid of me yet, but I'll probably have to leave when I get my first posting." "Oh, hush now, let's not talk about that," Sam says, cutting her off and smiling. The rest of the evening passes as a happy blur, and even Chris behaves themselves. You couldn't be prouder. Things are going well for you, the Akamura. Or at least for Susie. Ugh. Shopping, something that always seemed so tedious before the sanctions, has become even more of a chore now. You managed to get almost everything you needed for the family this evening, but you'll have to come back tomorrow to get through the week. There's a queue to leave the car park, though it's hard to make out why in the dark. Hopefully whatever is causing it won't be long.
A fucking roadblock.
As the final car in front of you drives off, you realize the queue is actually due to a checkpoint set up at the exit. A friendly-looking man in an advance uniform, CCO emblazoned in a number of places on it, approaches your car and knocks on the driver's side window. You roll it down. "Good evening. Nothing to worry about. I was just wondering if I could see your team membership card, please." Weren't those cards supposed to be voluntary? You respond, "I'm sorry, I don't have one." "Ah, that's not a problem. We've got forms with us right here, and we're more than happy to sign you up." The man gestures to his colleague behind him, a young woman in a similar uniform. She clearly received the short end of the stick and is stuck with the paperwork.
I thought these cards weren't required.
Well, strictly speaking, they're not, but there's also loads of benefits to having them, and no reason not to get one. His smile fades a bit, and when he puts a hand up to scratch the back of his neck for a moment, he leans over you, his presence now seeming a little intimidating.
No thanks, it's not something I want right now.
Almost instantly, the friendly demeanor is gone, and his expression is one of stern disapproval. Well, obviously, I can't make you sign up, but I would strongly recommend that you do, and we wouldn't want people to think you had anything to hide, would we? He takes a step back and gestures for you to drive on. You're sure you see him writing something down in your rearview mirror as you head home somewhat more hurriedly than before. Clearly, Advance are very keen on everyone joining the team. An invitation worth ignoring? It's a Saturday, one of your few days off, and you've made the most of it. But as late afternoon draws on, the invitation sits pinned to the fridge, staring accusingly at you. The Channel 1 Gala is a mandatory work event, Bozeman was very quick to tell you. Also, don't you dare be late. So, if you remember, you were called into work early on your anniversary, and you chose to go ahead and go to work regardless of your anniversary. So your two options are, it's probably not wise to risk Bowman's wrath, better go, or you already missed your anniversary this year, you're not giving up another Saturday.
It's a mandatory work event.
So you're gonna go?
Yep.
Okay.
Gotta go.
Better start getting ready. You wonder if Sam will give you a lift. A drink or two might help with the enforced office socializing. Hopefully it won't be too bad. After all, you're pretty good at your job, right? You arrive on time, barely, at the Savanian, one of the oldest and grandest hotels in the capital. You're surprised to see a queue to get in, and quickly realize it's because people are being searched at the door by some very military-looking personnel in smart attire. While you're waiting, you can't help but notice just how very opulent the building is, possibly the fanciest place you've been in your life. You submit to being patted down and, with a sigh of relief, are led into the hotel. Once inside, you're directed to the grand ballroom, and following the signs, you marvel at the sheer scale of the place, and the amount of armed security guards. When you finally arrive, a very severe-looking woman at the door asks for your name. You are Alex Winston. She curtly checks her list before whispering something to the waiter beside her. You've made it just in time to be seated before dinner. Please follow Emmanuel here to your table. The waiter smiles at you and opens one of the great double doors, gesturing you to enter. Immediately, you can see why it's called the Grand Ballroom. You pause for a second to take it all in. You feel a slight tap on your arm, and Emmanuel gestures for you to follow him. He seats you at a table away from the central floor area, half under a set of stairs. Your view of the stage is, at best, partially blocked. Bozeman's definitely not happy with you at the moment. You're sat with some colleagues you've heard of around the Channel 1 offices before, but haven't met. For the most part, they're considered slackers at best and about to be fired at worst. What category do you fit in? I think that is based on how much you were helping Advance, because you ignored his orders to censor Jesus' song. I believe that's why you're on his shit list. But I haven't tested it the other way yet. As the evening goes on, you hear Jeremy Donaldson receive an award for outstanding contributions to journalism. You also hear Megan Wolf accepting it on his behalf, as he hasn't turned up for the event. Not unusual, apparently. But it's hard for you to tell much from your limited view under the stairs. You also notice a community cohesion officer hovering near your table. They seem as bored to be here as you. A few glasses of, no doubt, very expensive wine later, you see Bozeman speaking to a few specific tables, joined by what looks like Prime Ministers Julia Salisbury and Peter Clement. This is confirmed by an unimpressed nod from the CCO when you ask them, perhaps a little too loudly. Their presence sparks a debate between those at your table about the virtues of both advance and disrupt. So you can either say that advance is better, disrupt is better, or you remain neutral.
We're gonna stay out of it.
You stay out of the politics. You probably had too much to drink. You end up talking and staying later than you thought you would, despite yourself. Sam isn't best pleased when you keep them waiting outside for 20 minutes. But it wasn't an entirely terrible evening in the end. You'd still rather have been at home, though. Maybe you'll skip the next one. I think real me would enjoy being in events like that.
Company dinners?
If I had a reason to be. Like, if I was Alex in this case, I wouldn't want to go. Well, yeah, I probably wouldn't want to go. But, like, if I was the Jeremy Donaldson in this equation or the Megan Wolf in this equation, I probably would have gone.
Yep. Before the lockdown, we've had a few company early Sunday meetings, and I've skipped every one because not waking up at 5.
Well,
on
a meeting
Sunday.
is a meeting. I mean, if it was like...
It was a celebration sort of thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, exactly. So, like, if you were personally being awarded, then I would have been like, maybe you should. But if you're not, fuck it. Poor Mark in the chat goes, ugh, mandatory work events.
Fuck 'em.
I'm trying to remember if I ever went to one when I was employed by Walmart, but I don't think I ever did. Oh, shit. Okay. Ah, crap. Turning volume back up. Again, I'm going to have the volume a little louder because I think the game volume was a bit quiet last time. So, yeah. As always, if you have any feedback on volume balance, please let me know in the chat. All right, here we go. New mechanics. Yeah, I'm gonna need my ears for this. Oh, ads. We've got Eye of the Beholder. I'm sure you want that one.
Yes.
We also have advanced team membership cards, Crazy Neil, Remington's Fist, and whatever that one is.
Is the advance mandatory?
Yes.
Okay, so let's do advance in the middle slot again.
Okay, and for the third one?
Come to what?
Bumblin's. A family-friendly holiday camp in the heart of the countryside.
Let's do that. That sounds weird.
Okay.
4, 3.
I'm going to need the second ear
Good evening.
for this again.
I'm Jeremy
so
Donaldson. Our main
there's going to be a
headlines
little
tonight.
echo intentionally.
Siege mentality. The World Council today established a military blockade to enforce the unjust and punitive sanctions.
I don't know the difference
now
between
entering their
these two.
10th
A or B.
week. In a statement from team headquarters a short time ago, Prime Minister Julia Salisbury issued a commanding response to this unprovoked escalation.
The regrettable decision taken by the World Council this morning have left the citizens of this country isolated and fearful. But Advance have prepared for this day. Our stockpiles are large, our wealth is unfathomable, and we will defend our citizens with every last breath from this latest brutal and calculated act of war.
Chill out.
We are with you. One team. Indivisible and strong.
Not looking good.
Thank you.
Taking the plunge? Far be it for us to be cynical, but it's beginning to seem like the wedding of a certain celebrity power couple is more about attention than it is about love.
A or B.
As this leaked photo shows,
A.
the nuptials of heartthrob Johnny Handsleeves and art snob Tiffany Lamour were far from conventional when they finally tied the knot this week. Eyewitnesses claim that the fuse was lit sometime during the vows, and that his entrance to the reception, through 3 windows and an exterior wall, was particularly memorable. In it to win
I
it,
haven't seen that one.
exciting news from Advance today with the announcement of a new monthly prize draw for all team membership card holders. Every
A or
month,
B.
lucky winners from across the country will be picked at random to receive what Team
B.
HQ are describing as unique prizes worth more than money used to be. Take-up on the scheme has been much higher than expected, And if this lucky winner's delighted face is anything to go by, it looks like pretty soon everyone's going to have one. Burning rubber. Sales of condoms have plummeted this month as sales of responsibility soar. Since becoming widely available earlier this year, the male contraceptive pill has become commonplace in the lives of many heterosexual couples, and as a result, many are turning their backs on more traditional prophylactics. Today by one leading medical journal suggests that it's women who are moving away from the humble Johnny. The paper found that partners who are willing to share the contraceptive responsibility are far more likely to be screened for infection and to report happier relationships. Oh, Captain, my Captain. Progress today for the stranded scientists of Dante's Taint, as the captain leading their rescue mission is announced. The trapped team have survived in the cave system for many months now, but hope is on the horizon as the expedition leader is announced by the Board of Underground Theoretics.
I wonder what the difference in choices
professional
was.
with decades of experience, training and knowledge, Captain Audrey Aerospace is said to be the only real choice to successfully save the troubled scientific excursion, but an unfortunate one to be sat next to at a dinner party or social occasion. Life during wartime. As if we didn't have enough aggressors on our borders, internal problems are growing for the government as radical activist group Disrupt caused chaos in Parliament Park last night. Scuffles broke out after the protest, resulting in multiple arrests and the injury of 3 community cohesion officers. Advance have yet to comment. The reckless fire will certainly be remembered by all those who have seen these striking images. As their actions escalate, people across the country are asking themselves, who are Disrupt and what exactly do they want? Other than a new box of matches, of course. All this, and I'll be talking to some people with fascinating medical conditions, as well as one of the contenders in this year's Feline Football Championship and her proud owner. That's all up on tonight's
Feline football.
National Nightly News.
Where's Nisi? I need a kicker.
I like how how the developers slowly add more mechanics to worry about at the same time.
I think it turned off.
Shit.
But first tonight, our team of correspondents has been dispatched to every corner of the country to see how the people of this great nation of ours are coping with this unprecedented hot weather. First, let's go to Megan Wolf in Shining-on-Sea to see what this scientific community has to say. Megan, how's the weather there?
It's absolutely glorious, Jeremy. Thank you for asking. I'm here with Dr. Anna Burns of the University of Princeton. Are you enjoying the weather as much as I am?
Oh, yes, it's wonderful, isn't it? My eyelids are sweating.
And you're part of a team carrying out a study into just what's causing this unbelievable heat, is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, we want to be able to reassure the public once and for all that there's absolutely nothing to worry about and that they can enjoy their sunstroke and fossil fuels in peace.
You sound very confident about that.
Oh, very much so. I can say without any hesitation, there's really no cause for any concern here. I've actually left my car running.
So tell us about this experiment.
Well, we take data from weather stations from all over the world, along with atmospheric samples, and we take all that and we feed it into this state-of-the-art computer, and very soon we'll be getting a high-tech readout of the results.
Blimey, that sounds very fancy.
I should just say, none of this would be possible without the generous support of Rivington's Fist. This is all thanks to their unrivaled investment in our future, and may I just say, complimentary personal anecdote. Oh, here we go. And, as expected, everything is absolutely fucked. Hang on.
Shit.
This can't be right.
Right, but obviously you said a second ago that everything is fine, so...
Well, actually, under concern level, it just says, why, God, why?
We should be celebrating these wonderful results, I think.
Yeah? We need to evolve gills within 40 years.
You look thirsty.
Here it just says, shit.
Look at you. This is meant to be a celebration. Can't go around looking like that.
Shit.
There you go, much better. Can I just say thank you again to Sophia Remington for providing all of this.
Everyone, we don't have long. Time is running out.
It's running out. Absolutely right. That is all we have time for.
Abandon hope and return to the forest.
Enjoy that.
I'd like to thank Dr. Burns for just one opinion on the climate. The sea will reclaim us all! There you have it, Jeremy. Proof, if proof be needed.
Wish we could have a little of that heat
Everything is
today.
just fine. I'm Megan Wolf, here with science. Back to you.
Megan Wolf there, attempting to do some actual news. Next, heads over to Robin Short, who's in Scritchford with some of the winners of this week's team membership lottery. Robin?
Thanks, Jeremy. I'm here in Scritchford with Gary Failsafe, a janitor at the local school, and Amelia Jackhammer, an aspiring poet. Both of you were drawn at random from those who hold team membership cards to receive this week's amazing prize. How do you feel?
Filled with fervent euphoria.
Yeah, good, yeah.
And all that we had to do was fill in a quick form or two.
Wow, that sounds so convenient. But we're all dying to know, what have you won?
That's right, Robin. I've won dinner with Julius Salisbury at one of the capital's top restaurants.
Ooh, swanky.
And I've been invited to Peter Clement's house to help him dredge the gutter in.
That's absolutely terrific. You must both be over the moon.
I think I'd rather talk to Peter Clement than Julius
So,
Salisbury.
can you tell me about the moment when you first heard the news?
Well, I was battling against a particularly difficult floater, probably one of the sixth formers, when the headmaster came and found me.
I was involved in a similarly brutal conflict with a particularly arduous stanza.
So you were both polishing turds?
No, I don't like to polish them. I like to keep them intact for my collection.
Oh. How unexpected.
I don't polish turds. I write poetry.
Potato, potato. So, Gary...
Do you think Peter Clement's going to let me keep the contents of his downpipe?
There's no harm in asking, I suppose.
Would you like to hear one?
No, thank you. Gary, when you signed up for team membership, was it in hopes of winning the lottery, or were there other reasons?
I like a flutter, of course, but no, the boss said I had to sign up to keep coming into school.
Very sensible. It's important to know who we're trusting around our children.
Oh, I have an unpublished book of sonnets about children. Perhaps you'd like to hear one.
No!
Or an anthology of haikus on the death of innocence.
I'd rather hear about Gary's turd collection.
Really? I thought you might say that.
Oh.
Are you all right?
Yes, it's coming. It's inspiration and it's delicious.
Right you are.
Today on the show there's no news. Just a man who keeps multiple poos.
Yeah, this big one's my favourite. See how it's fibrous, really lovely texture.
Would you encourage other people to enter for their chance to win?
Well, if it's colour you're looking for, take a gander at old Blue Eyes here.
The national news lost its way when it covered some crap on a tray.
Some of these are quite rare.
Maybe that was unfair.
And that's all we have time for today. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Robin. What a lucky pair they are. And finally in this segment, it's over to Patrick Bannon, who's gone to the
Bannon, our
smelliest town in the
favorite,
country.
'cause he showed up on the stream last
Bad
time.
is affecting the locals. Patrick?
Hello there, Jeremy. Hello, yes. I'm here live in Grizzleford, which was recently voted the smelliest town in the country. And I have to say that, you know, in this heat, the smell really is. I mean, it's something else.
Poor guy.
Barry Lardons, mate. You've lived here your whole life. How'd you put up with the stink?
Well, we're just all very proud of our achievement, to be honest with you. You can tell that. Look at him, proud as punch. Do you know what it's like, son? Being the second smelliest town? No, I don't. Living in the shadow of Arseminster. Those smug fucks. And who's laughing now, eh?
Well, not me, that's for sure. So what happened, mate?
Right, the good people from Remington's Fist came in and saved the day with their factory.
You're talking, of course, about the newly built Flage factory.
Yeah, they gave us this big presentation on jobs and growth. But as soon as we heard about the stench, we paid them whatever they wanted to put it here.
Does the stink not affect your life in every way, Barry? I mean, perhaps if you're filling in a tax return or completing the physical act of love.
It's strong at first, but you get used to it after several weeks of your first bout of sickness. The judges were very impressed.
So, what's the sickness?
Oh, that's nothing to worry about. It takes a few minutes before you develop any symptoms. Now, folk are saying something about the production line and how they dump carcasses directly into the waterway, but I think it's probably the few valves on the high street.
On the high street? Should I see a doctor? What are the symptoms?
Well, the first one is asking stupid questions. Then folk experience a loss of inhibition.
Fuck off, do they? When was the last time you brushed your teeth, you stinking old tramp?
And next recording is a period of randomly bursting into song, followed immediately by delusions of grandeur.
That's not really a problem, little song of my life. Hello, it's sexy Patrick Bannon, and he's wearing sexy shorts now. Oh my God, look at me. I'm like a stallion. I'm gorgeous, why didn't you tell me? I should take my shirt off. You know what? I'll even let you touch me if you want.
That will be the bout of undeserved self-confidence.
Love the Bannon, feel the Bannon.
What the hell is going on?
And the ennui. All that's left now are the hallucinations and unconsciousness.
Nana Dottie? Was that you? Why are you made out of elbows? You know I don't eat opinions.
Oh, don't worry, folks. Once he wakes up, he'll be just fine. We'll just find a place to stick him where it won't matter how many times he evacuates his bowels. Right, that's all here from Grizzleford, a town that's really making a stink. I'm Barry Lardons. Back to you, Jeremy.
Thanks, Barry. With a naval blockade being set up around our coastline as we speak, when we come back, I'll be talking to 3 members of the general public who appear to be here purely for medical reasons. Don't go away. Unless, of course, you've got something better to do. We'll be back after these messages.
1 minute back.
He's still got the fucking camera.
Even for you.
I don't care. It's done. I am done. It's 200 fucking degrees in here, and I can't do this anymore.
You say this every Friday.
I've done something.
What do you mean? Jeremy?
My mic is still on.
Jeremy has done something, the Akamura.
Uh-oh.
This next section features a potentially controversial guest. Advance may request some censorship if he goes too off-topic. You've done a great job so far keeping everyone happy, so let's keep up the good work.
What do you say? Do you want to censor Advance or not?
Let's find out what she has to say before we do.
Okay.
She, like, oh yeah, this is...
So what I'm going to do, I want you to tell me censor or not. There's also going to be a decision you have to make, and I don't want to pause because that kind of removes a little bit of the tension. So answer quick once you realize what's going on, okay?
Okay.
And this is where the actor... Damn it, I forgot his name. But Jeremy he does good. So here we go.
Was that a hair commercial? Because I love
Yes.
hair
Welcome back
commercials.
to the National Nightly News with me, your host, Jeremy Donaldson. Later, we'll be talking to the captain of the territory's first cat football team, Professor Pumpkin. But first, I'm joined by 3 guests with some balmy bodily behaviours. Joining me is a woman who's been hiccuping for over 9 months. Isn't that right, Miss Piercy?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. Tell us, what brought all this on?
Well, it's all a bit of a blur, Jeremy, to be totally frank with you. So I was watching your show and I remember seeing the news about the election and it hasn't stopped since.
Fascinating stuff. Also here is Frankie Steampipe. Perhaps you could explain to us exactly what your physiological foreboil is.
I'm here to say it's high time people like me were respected. We're constantly overlooked in the workplace, we're whispered about on buses, and we're asked politely to leave children's birthday parties. And it's disgusting. I'm sorry, my bowels have comic timing.
And finally, I'm joined by a man who answers every question honestly, even when it isn't aimed at him. How do you cope with that, Mr. Truman?
With a combination of booze, self-hatred, and hardcore pornography.
Is that
Not
Well.
according to my therapist.
Well, in that case, let's speak to Rose. Tell me, how does the hiccuping impact you?
I get shushed a lot, which is hard. At work, they've asked me to stop answering the phones. It's really affected my confidence.
Well, I find it really fucking irritating.
Do people tend to believe your story?
Fuck no.
Actually, I've been surprised at how much support I've received.
And Frankie, why have you come here today?
Because my wife left me, and I was hoping that the fame would win her back.
We've started a group for people with ailments deemed broadly comical by society. It's called Take Us Seriously.
That's right. And we bloody well mean it.
And who's joined so far?
A bunch of fucking losers.
It's just us so far.
And how much success have you had?
Well, we've seen some real positive changes.
I don't want to toot my own horn, but it's been a runaway success.
Shit all. Not a single person come to our fun run, and all of our leaflets fell in the canal.
Well, Miss Piercy, some people are saying your condition was actually caused by the shocking events of that night. What do you think?
Come on, Mr. Donaldson, that's absolute rubbish.
What it'd be like to have a pair of tits.
Could you? I'm sorry, it's very hot. What was I thinking?
That you're a team fuck puppet?
No.
Or a sellout cunt?
Apologies. Just a reminder that he can't help it. And hey, if this isn't live television, then what is it?
Fuckfest of propaganda masquerading as journalism.
Yeah, go ahead and
Right,
censor.
Frankie,
Okay.
Rose, tell us, how can the viewers get involved with your cause?
Yes, we're holding a sponsored run in Capital Park next weekend. It's called the No Smiles 13 Miles.
No, it's called the No Laugh Half. What did I say before the show?
That it was the team pulling Jeremy Donaldson's strings.
No! Oh, wow! We may have to end that there, unfortunately. What a harmless bit of fun.
Steady on! This is exactly what I'm talking about. We demand respect.
Yes, well, later, I'll be talking to Professor Pumpkin, a ginger tabby with a world-class pair of penalty paws. Is that really necessary?
No, it isn't. Let go. Not you.
Unhand him at once. Enough! That's enough! Enough!
What are you doing?
Trying not to piss myself.
Alex, don't you dare! Don't you fucking dare cut to the ads before I tell you to. Now, you in the broadcast centre, Bozeman's little scapegoat, you listen to me. You cut to the ads before I tell you to, and I will kill every single person in this studio.
Okay.
I am thinking about what I'm doing. I've been thinking about it for a long time. We all should be. Christ, it's so fucking hot in here. Do you remember when we used to do the real news? Before it was all lottery winners and bloody cat football? We are on the brinks of a siege, the likes of which the world hasn't seen in hundreds of years. The enemy is at the gates, and I'm stuck here talking to these three fucking idiots.
I think my hiccups have stopped.
You three, get the fuck out of my studio. Go on, now, go, before I change my mind. Jenny, lock the doors. Lock the doors.
Yes, Jeremy.
Now. Good. Yes. Now. Right then. You in the broadcast centre. Alex, you listen to me. You pay attention. Now, I'm sure you've already loaded up exactly what you're going to play in the commercial, but today is going to be a little bit different. Look to your right. Yes, really. Look to your right. There is a VHS tape, and I want you to load it into one of the machines, and when I say so, and
29 seconds. Do you want to see the tape or not?
Do it. Load it.
15 seconds, so I wouldn't waste any time. Now, all cameras.
I assume you won't be playing that tape. This station does not negotiate with terrorists. I hope I've made myself clear. You seem to know what to do.
Every single thing that comes out of
Do
the
it.
studio
Do
is
it.
either one-sided, or for now, we're going to show the other side for a bit. For a bit of fucking balance. Like the good old days. Alex, play the fucking tape.
Alex, you're going to get me in trouble with that. Let's hope you made the right call.
We are. You've seen our symbols on your walls. You've heard them talk about us on the news. We are Disrupt. We are the Resistance. It's time you knew the truth. You know Advance are lying to you. You know the elderly are not a burden.
No matter what
They're
happens,
not all evil.
Channel 1
And you know the
is
team
neutral.
membership card is an ID card, no matter what they try to tell you. But why should you trust us? Another faceless organization. A shadowy figure with a distorted voice. You've seen it so many times in the movies. Well, this is not a movie.
My name is Alan James. I used to try and shock people for a living, for entertainment. But now we live in a time where perhaps you need to be shocked. Perhaps we need to wake up. Advance are coming for our freedoms. They are coming for the fruits of our labors. They will take our wealth. They will euthanize our parents and smiling throughout. They will turn our children against us if we voice our concerns. But you don't have to accept it. A great many people already won't. You can resist. You can disrupt. Find us. Talk with us. Join us. It isn't hard. We're everywhere.
I had a speech, look. But this was unexpected.
So what now, Jeremy?
It was supposed to be your day off. It was supposed to be your day off.
Please, don't do any more stupid things today.
How long? How long, Jenny?
You already lied.
Welcome back to the National Nightly News. Joining me, unexpectedly, for what I very much imagine will be my last broadcast, are two new guests. Jenny works here at the National Nightly News and is someone I consider, well, a friend. And next to her is, what's your name?
Andy.
Andy's a policeman. Only we don't call him that anymore. He's a community cohesion official.
Officer.
Sorry?
It's community cohesion officer, CCO.
And how's that feel, Andy? Being rebranded?
It's good. it's not about confrontation anymore. You know, the force had its fair share of problems. The team doesn't have as many.
But it still has some.
I couldn't say.
Couldn't or wouldn't?
I don't know what you want me to say.
Christ, you're fucking useless, aren't you? We'll come back to you later. Jenny?
I don't want to be on the news, Jeremy.
Let's keep cutting away from her. She's uncomfortable.
That's perfectly understandable.
Copy that.
Who'd want to do this? Jenny. Why did you join the National Nightly News team?
Okay, cut to her.
I always wanted to work in news.
Yes, but why specifically this program? The National Nightly News.
It was the news everyone trusted.
Was?
Is. Do you really want to quibble semantics at gunpoint?
Is there something else you'd rather discuss?
There is a great big Alan James-sized elephant in the room you seem to be ignoring.
What do you mean?
I saw your face when that hood came down. You didn't know, did you?
It's about the message, not the messenger.
Like I said, you didn't know.
No. I didn't know. The people I met were with... He wasn't there.
God,
I didn't know it was Alan James.
I'm sorry. But seriously. Alan fucking James. You're flushing your life down the toilet for... God, I love you, Jeremy, but...
He's a good speaker. He's popular in the country.
That right?
Look, forget Alan James. There is still something deeply wrong. And you know it, Jenny. And you know it, Andy. And you at home, you know it too. Meanwhile, I'm interviewing a guest who stinks of shit. Patrick is paddling about in shit. And Robin is literally interviewing someone who collects the fucking stuff. I mean, it's not sophisticated, but what a metaphor. We are sleepwalking our way into oppression,
Censor
and the
it or
news
not.
isn't saying anything.
No.
We're not saying anything.
Says who?
Don't censor anything Advance wants you to censor.
What are all those scientists working on at Grantham Downs? What are they testing underground at Altergrave? Andy, your turn. Make yourself fucking useful. How many people have you brought in for consultations just because they weren't carrying or didn't have team membership cards?
Oh, well, there's other forms of identification that we will accept.
For how long?
We're just here to help.
Then why do you need these? Not really help when it's offered at gunpoint, is it, Andy? Let me demonstrate it for you. Let me help you. You read these cards with my notes on it, and you'll probably digest a fact. That'd be helpful, wouldn't it, Andy? Knowing a fact?
What? I don't understand.
Do you want my help,
Yes,
Andy?
yes, whatever you say, yes.
Security are here, Jeremy.
Eat it.
What?
Eat the fucking news, Andy, or I'll force it down your fucking throat.
Jeremy, stop.
Go on.
Really?
Eat it. Eat it, you fucking bully.
Jeremy, stop. They will kill you. Please, don't make me watch that.
Of course. You're right. Sorry. Sorry, everyone. You can put the card down now, Andy. You can go now. You too, Jenny. Fuck off over there. We're nearly done. All cameras on me. This new regime of ours is so seductive. I understand that. But before we all hand off our freedoms, should we ask to whom we're handing them over? Don't you want to know what's being done in your name? How many people were transitioned last month? A record high. Again, if you care. Shouldn't someone ask Advance how they plan to deal with this blockade? How many years or months of supplies we have? Why aren't we asking these questions instead of, whose shit is this? There's a cat backstage dressed as a fucking goalie, for Christ's sake. He's even got the little gloves.
Oh.
Anyway, that's why I arranged for you to see that broadcast from the last break. I didn't know it was going to be him, but I guess that just about sums it up. We are all up Ship Creek with a paddle made of Alan fucking James. Christ, it's also fucking pointless. I was going to quit tonight. Take a holiday. Try something else. Out of the limelight. Maybe try having a relationship. I hear they're nice. Never tried. I loved the news. And now, well...
God, Jeremy, don't!
I've tried my best to be honest with you, but this just isn't the news anymore. And I'm sorry. I've lost this fight.
Alex, think of the consequences.
I've let you down.
Tell me why.
All of
Cut
you.
to the ads.
My name's Jeremy
Now!
Donaldson.
Do it now!
If you can, somehow.
Cut to the
I
ad.
am
So, wow, I kind of wish you were on face cam. It's not funny. I am laughing more out of nervousness. The Akamura is stunned with a wide-eyed deer in headlights look at what she just saw. Yeah, you have no words, do you, the Akamura?
I need a hot cocoa and a banky, everyone. I don't like politics anymore.
It's,
Let's abandon the cities and return to the forest.
yeah. It's, pretty intense. But yeah, the actor who plays Jeremy absolutely crushed that. So, it's, good choices there, the Akamura. I'm sure everything will work out fine.
I hope Jenny got him.
Alright, so, I'm gonna do more volume tweaking here. So that's part 2. We've got one more part of the... Oh, you got a small bonus. You've got enough money for holiday time. Yay. Yeah, Mark in the chat says, I feel a bit weird now. Yeah, it's... During segment 2 of this, I thought they went a little too ridiculous. With, like, the dude who farted comically. And I'm like, this game was above that. I don't fully understand. But then, like...
Now we understand.
Yeah, it's such an emotional whiplash that they did it to take you off guard to make that even more impactful. So
Holy
good.
Shit.
So, you ready to continue?
I got no choice.
Yep, you don't have a choice. Oh, wow, there's no sound. Usually it plays in a lot of music at this point. But yeah, Disrupt likes you because you played the tape, and Advance hates you because you didn't censor anything.
And the channel
But
views.
because you didn't censor anything, Channel 1 is respected still.
Good.
So, yeah. Let's go to the next part. Yeah, Mark's saying he feels weird. I think that is the correct reaction to have. That is precisely what they intended. This should not feel good. It's funny because the game is a comedy, but there's this very strong tragic undercurrent to it. You wake up, still partly in shock from what you saw on the news last night. What you had to edit on the news last night. When you come downstairs, you find your family sat in the living room, waiting for you. You take a seat on the sofa between Sam and Susie. Sam swallows, hesitating before starting. We were so worried about you last night. After Jeremy, after everything that happened. Sam shakes their head. I wonder what they'll do with him now. Are you okay?
Can't shake the feeling that he might be right.
Sam looks to the kids, then back to you. We saw that you chose to play that tape. They pause before continuing. And I couldn't help but wonder why.
God, both are true.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like I had a choice.
What? That's not good enough. Disrupt are bad people. I can't believe you did that. Charlie's outburst seems to come out of nowhere, and no one in the room is prepared for it. Do you even think about how this stuff affects people? You're a fucking idiot.
What's your fucking language?
Sam tries to interject Charlie, but he's already slammed the door. Charlie always was a bit black and white about this sort of thing. For what it's worth, Alex, I think you were in an impossible situation and somehow you managed to make the right call. Sam throws their arms around you. Only you were stuck in that studio having to make that choice. No one can criticize what you did, and I'm proud of you. You've never been so grateful to have Sam support you. You take a deep breath and gather your thoughts. It's all a lot to take in. You're not sure you fully processed what happened last night, let alone what Charlie and Sam think about it all. You look to your daughter. I know this is an incredibly difficult thing, and we don't always agree, but I do think you made the right choice. Susie smiles at you. You had to play it. There was just no other option. You put an arm around her and give her an affectionate squeeze. It's nice you've at least got some company. The TV is playing through some old Western show, but it's not quite as distracting as you'd hoped. You were never going to please everyone.
English has sent us some coffee money. $20
He did.
worth.
Thank you very much. That's a very generous donation.
Yes, we appreciate it.
That's more than coffee. That's, well, maybe not a Starbucks, but you know what I mean.
I was gonna say that's like order some Cinnabon money.
Yeah. Greatly appreciated, English. Thank you very much. How many episodes are there going to be? Asked Mark. 3. This is episode 2. Episode 1 was our first stream. There's only one more left. I just don't know when it's coming. It's nice you've at least got some company. The TV is playing through some old Western show, but it's not quite as distracting as you'd hoped. Hopefully there are still some biscuits left. As you enter the kitchen, you see Sam and Susie enthusiastically discussing something. Your daughter's still in her scrubs, having clearly come straight from work. I got the posting I was hoping for, she gushes. I'll be doing my placement in the new transition center, really helping people like Grandma. You can say, a transition center, why would you want to work at one of those horrible places? Or, that's amazing news, congratulations, sweetheart, such an important work.
Fuck. I have to take a black and white stance on this.
So...
she's hoping for it. Congratulations.
Bottom one?
Yeah.
Okay, you don't feel good about it.
You culled the herd.
The four of you sit around the kitchen table for the first time in a while and celebrate the news. No one's up for cooking, so you get a takeaway instead. Another reason why you know it's a British game, because we don't say takeaway here in the States. Susie wants to try the new curry place that's just opened up. Oh god, that sounds good. And other than some amusing faces from Charlie, you all think it's pretty good. Who knows how many more evenings you'll get like this? Congratulations, Akamura. You've been in the studio for over a year.
Jesus.
Editing too quickly will annoy the audience. I have that trouble when I switch to the wrong camera. I want to quickly switch back, and sometimes that's the wrong play if you want an A+. I'm surprised my scores are doing okay. I've had some highs and some very lows. So what's upcoming is going to be another emotional whiplash. This is going to be the other musical number for those of you who love the musical numbers. Mark may be feeling uncomfortable with the events of the last thing, but this will make him feel a little better, I'm sure. Ads.
Is the advanced one mandatory?
Yep.
Put it in the middle.
Okay.
Do we have any
I have
of
the
my...
holders here.
Pop it in.
And for the third break?
What are my other options?
The Cruise of a Lifetime, Crazy Neil, and Remington's Fist, a few wartime extravagances from your friends at Remington Fest.
Let's grab Crazy Neil. That one sends our stock up for some reason.
Okay.
It's lucky.
I want to explain to you real quick what Bozeman just said. Disrupt is going to be trying to hacking the broadcast. On each Disrupt hack attempt, I can either try to avoid it or lean into it. Do you have a preference?
Let's lean into it.
You want to lean into it from start to finish, yes?
Maybe. Maybe.
Okay, then what I'll do, since that was your first instinct, I will default to leaning into it, but when there's a split, I need you to tell me, like, if you don't want it leaned into at that point. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay.
10 seconds, everybody.
Jenny and Megan are having problems with this. That's what I've been talking over, but
In 5, 4.
they very much
3.
miss Jeremy. You can see she's looking very haggard.
Good evening. This is the National Nightly News. I'm Megan Wolfe. It's the 140th day of war. Our main headlines tonight. Company of Heroes. Skirmishes on land and sea again today as our armed forces tested the mettle of the World Council's illegal blockade. Advance's strategy of multiple small-scale incursions into the disputed zone is certainly keeping the enemy on high alert, unable to work out where or when the next strike will come. Sadly, however, more casualties were reported today, and as the weeks and months of this war make ever more demands on our armed services, those numbers will, tragically, only continue to rise. Don't starve. Advance's food program moved from strength to strength today as rationing depots were opened in the last remaining unfed areas of the territory. The rationing depots have been constructed in record time, and the government's agricultural coordination strategy has seen shelves restocked with increasing regularity. However, with a reported rise in mental and physical health issues since the imposition of the blockade, critics have questioned whether those smaller communities which are only now starting to receive help could have been better and quicker served. 7 days to die. The recent decision to allow those with long-term health conditions to access transition centres has today been declared an overwhelming success. Previously available only to those in their final years, the expansion of the service has been met with relief by the many organisations calling for it to be opened up to the wider community. With dwindling medical supplies leaving many of our most vulnerable facing chronic pain,
I feel like people with
it can
terminal
come as no
illnesses have a
surprise
right
that the
to die,
transition centres have found
but it
themselves
shouldn't be
stretched to
mandatory.
capacity.
Yeah.
Populace. More than 11% of the population have thus far failed to register for a team membership card. A worrying statistic given that the cards are a legal requirement from midnight tonight. While applications are still open for those who like to run fashionably late, they can expect a few tricky questions from advance. Start me up. Disrupt spokesman Alan James held an impromptu rally today in the northern city of Mankleypool. Large crowds gathered to hear the band speaker prove Disrupt are still able to capture the public's imagination.
I haven't seen this one.
Community cohesion officers found themselves challenged by the unruly mob element always present at Disrupt events, but thankfully managed to keep violent incidents to a minimum. And finally tonight, our mutual friend. Bail was denied in the High Court today for shamed former National Nightly News anchor Jeremy Donaldson. The presenter will be transferred to new lodgings at Penton Ridge Prison, while the lengthy preparations for his trial, which is still 18 months away, begin. Following his very public breakdown on this programme 10 weeks ago, the once loved presenter was disarmed and taken into custody by the community cohesion team. Let's hope doctors can help the once great man. But first this evening, with the war about to enter its 21st punishing week and people hurting up and down the country, I'll be grilling unpredictable Prime Minister Peter Clement in an exclusive interview from his home in Lancashire. That's coming up on tonight's National Nightly News.
Are you okay?
Yeah, you can tell he's... What the fuck? Oh, shit!
Let it happen.
No, that's not Disrupt. That's me fucking up entirely because I wasn't paying attention. Right now, they're not trying to hack. There's just random interference. I done goofed that hard because I looked away. I'll turn it back up in just a second. There we go.
In part 2, I'm a little overexcited to announce I'll be interviewing the one and only Lil C. And later, we've got a new feature that's sure to keep you coming back for more. But first tonight, let's check in with Prime Minister Peter Clement, who's speaking to us from his home in Lancashire. Good evening, Prime Minister. Have we caught you exercising?
Oh, have we started?
I need the second volume
yes,
for
that's right,
bleeping
Miss
him.
Wolf. Just a few minor adjustments. I mean, nothing drastic. I haven't joined the gym or anything. As my old mum used to say, just because she won't take it up the shit, it doesn't mean you shouldn't try for a quick fiddle up the car park.
Language, Prime Minister. Language, Prime Minister.
What? Quick fiddle? What's wrong? Oh, shitter. It's shitter, isn't it? Yep, that's the one.
And can you tell us what brought about this?
Okay, here.
Well, you know.
Today, I spoke to the people of Mankleypool, and when I was finished, I stuck around. And I did something I would never have done in my old life. I listened. I listened to Jean, who told me that although she has financial security for her and her family for the first time in her life, she finds also for the first time that she can no longer see peace. I listened to Clive, who is preoccupied by the worry of being a burden on his children and counting the days until they sit him down and tell him he is exactly that. I listened to Anna, who spends her lunchtimes in the school cafeteria eating alone because she is the only girl in her class who isn't a go-getter. They have never met, these three, and they are of different ages and social backgrounds, but they share a common experience.
Apparently, I'm going on a walking around this Christmas. And that should be off a bloody
In
good.
our utopia. And I share that feeling. And maybe you do too. In the days and weeks ahead, I will be speaking throughout the country, but you don't need to wait for me. Disruptor everywhere. Every bar, every street corner. Look for us and you will find us. You are not alone. And Advance are not the only team.
Also,
It doesn't seem very advanced to be going abroad when the rest of the country is grounded.
And yet, Julia Salisbury announced today that she'll be visiting Svenland during this year's winter break. Is that really an example of team spirit?
What? Did you know about this, Gail?
No one tells me anything, Peter. You should know that. Why don't you know?
Let's all think about that for a moment. One of the nation's most respected and beloved truth seekers is to be put on trial. And for what? Waving a gun around he clearly had no intention of ever using. That Jeremy Donaldson had a very public breakdown is undeniable, but rather than law enforcement, wouldn't medical experts be the one to call? Of course, that was never going to happen.
Holy shit, he's got a point.
Jeremy Donaldson had a very public breakdown
Yeah, let him
because
hack
he
it all.
simply couldn't take what Advance were doing anymore. He knew that the national nightly news was being transformed from a bastion of truth into a frivolous chat show. And like a mother watching her child fall under a predator's spell, he couldn't stand by and allow that to happen. He chose to stand up to Advance, and their response will be to destroy him. He will be discredited, shamed, tried and convicted. They will break him as an example to us all. But today, Disruptors named him an officer in absentia. We welcome him to our ranks. We are with you, Jeremy. You do not stand alone.
I used to really like you, Pat. You were a breath of fresh air. But I've been watching you, and you know what? You get more like him every day.
I will take that as a compliment. Prime Minister, later on this evening, your co-leader Julia Salisbury is going to give a national address from team headquarters. Can you give us a hint of what she's going to say?
Yes. Well, I imagine that there
Sorry,
will be
you
the
imagine?
usual... No, what I
She's
mean,
not
what I
telling
mean is...
You do know about this broadcast, don't you, Prime Minister?
I'm sure I did. But Julia and I have no secrets from each other. We don't memorize each other's bloody diaries either. As my old man used to say, if you wanted to get a job done quick, don't get bogged down in the pubes. What else you got?
Sorry?
Only cards, what else? A little piece of my life you want to rustle through? Get out, refill my last. Ah, come on. Come on.
Mark
What
says
music do you listen
hashtag
to when
stand
you
with
work
Jeremy.
out? What music do you listen to when you work out?
Well, Gail tells me that I work out to Little C, but I have absolutely no fucking idea who that is. Do you think the C stands for...
It stands for collaborative, Prime Minister.
Yeah, that does make more sense, actually.
How's rationing affecting you?
It's hard, but we get by. You just have to learn to get by on the basics. Take comfort in each other. I've got Mrs. C and many a fine single malt.
Here it comes.
So for a decent night's sleep, of course.
Prime Minister, thank you for joining us. When we come back, it's time for the Culture Spot with Lil C and a world premiere performance of her new song. I genuinely can't wait to hear that. We'll be back after this.
I love what the makeup artist has done because the actor who plays Megan, she's clearly very pretty. She is traditionally extremely attractive. Hopefully this isn't too far, especially to me, since I like brunettes. But the makeup artist did such a great job on her for this. You can see how haggard, pale,
Yep,
upset she is.
They've contoured her face differently.
Yeah, and they've gone the other way through some of the previous episodes, like the lockdown, where she's in the devil outfit, being all seductive and everything. So, like, the makeup artists behind this game know what they're doing to make her very attractive or very haggard, depending on the situation. It's very good. Oh, shut up. I know about that. But yeah, so how are you holding up there, the Akamura?
Holy shit.
So the next segment is our musical number. There is more Disrupt.
If Disrupt keeps hacking,
it'll
legitimize the guy.
Jeremy?
So no, not just Jeremy,
Alan
but
James.
Alan James, yeah.
They will continue hacking through this, except during the song itself. So do you want me to keep letting them hack?
Keep letting them hack, as long as they're not interrupting the song.
Okay.
Really? She any good?
Is that a guy buttoning up his fly?
Sure.
Kids go mad for her, absolutely mad.
Live in 10 seconds. Hang on, Colin, you've got kids.
Mark is going to love Little C. I have been chomping at the bit to hear Mark's reactions to Little C.
Thanks for coming back. Later, we have an exciting new feature that we just know you're going to love, so stay tuned for that. But first, I'm really excited for our next guest. She rose to prominence as the delightful Susie May in All My Daughter's Children's Men, before taking the music industry by storm this year with her debut album smashing the chart records at the age of just 20. Let's give it up and welcome Lil C. May I just say, you look incredible.
Oh, thanks, babe. I'm doing this new regime and it really does work.
What's the regime?
And my manager suggested it to me. It basically involves bathing
Hello,
in like
Ariana
cabbage water,
Cyrus.
then having the leaves sucked out of you while you sleep.
Wow, is that healthy?
Oh, well, look at me, Meg. The leaves are my only nourishment.
Yep, they certainly are. Now, you'll have to forgive me, but I'm somewhat of a super fan, so I'm sorry if I get a bit starstruck.
Oh, bless you. I've never actually heard of you before, so if you do get a little tongue-tied, I can always carry the interview.
Oh, that's good to know. So your first
But I
album,
guess the
F
C
My
really
Face
does
Together,
stand for.
It hit shelves this summer and it just exploded. I mean, what was that like for you?
Bonkers, just so weird. I was in all the papers and the magazines. Overnight, I went from that, like, annoying little girl from that show to that, like, sexy little girl from that show.
Wow, that must have been bizarre.
Not really, it was just like any other morning. You know, get up at 5, go on a 4-mile run, have 3 meetings on my cabbage bath, but then only then was my dad actually talking to me.
Oh, of course. I mean, the famed country singer, Billy Bob Jean Short. I didn't know you'd been estranged.
There's nothing that strange about it, Megan. Okay, yes, he may believe that aliens told him to hate women, but there really isn't anything to prove that he's wrong.
Uh-huh. So, this newfound explosion to your popularity, I mean, did that change your life?
Well, I had to start wearing, like, nicer underwear, you know, for the paparazzi, but as my manager says, best to make the most of it before I'm 30.
Is that right? So what's the album about?
So I thought it was about, like, how pretty and great I am, but actually it's about monetizing youth, I think, or about, like, promoting an unrealistic standard of beauty or something.
Your manager again?
Yeah, he says insecurity is an opportunity.
Oh, do you think he'd be happy with you telling us all this?
Telling you all what? It really doesn't matter what I say here. I'll do my dancing and then this part will all be forgotten about.
Oh, well, yeah, I mean, we're going to see some of those famous dance moves very shortly.
It really does stand for.
Yeah, it's from my album Put It In My A Together and it's out tomorrow.
My friend helped her 13-year-old son join the Go-Getters. He's occupied now. Busy, even. His room's never been tidier. But he keeps notebooks he won't let her read. And sometimes she catches him staring at her. And last week, she found him searching through her papers. When confronted, he always had a plausible answer, a good answer. But somehow it's too good. Like it's been prepared in advance. Or possibly by them. We want to know what the news will no longer tell us. And when we find out, we will tell you. We will hack into your news broadcasts. We will defend your right to information. We will resist, and we will disrupt.
You know, like better, but I don't know. I love doing autographs and having somebody dress me and tell me what to wear.
Did you always want to do music?
Well, ever since I was a little girl, I did. I'd sit in front of the radio, and as soon as my favourite girl group would come on, I'd press record on my cassette. But then my dad would come in and tell me to turn it off and to go back upstairs and start practising again.
Sorry, is your dad your manager?
Yeah, which can be tough. And sometimes when it gets really hard, he'll say, "Make Quagler proud and you might just survive childbirth."
Well, You know what, despite anything, you'll make me proud.
Oh, if only your opinion was as valuable as his.
And on that problematic note, you're going to be singing your song for us soon, aren't you? Tell me about it. Tell me about it.
So it's called These Babies Gonna Bring You Home, and I actually got sent the lyrics in the car on the way up here. But you know what? It's actually all right. And don't worry, all my work is team approved.
All right then. Well, you can go and get ready for that. We'll see you in a little bit. It was a very specific type of pleasure to chat to her, and I just can't wait to hear this. Oh, so here is Lil C with an exclusive first performance of her new track, These Babies Gonna Bring You Home. Take it away.
Enjoy this, Mark. And everybody. Oh, shit.
The queen of teams, here to break in your blockades. Lil C.
Oh baby, can't you see I'm hungry? There's a place in me that's empty. I want that meat you're packing, only you can fill that crack in me. I'm under siege, so come and free me. Ain't no disruption here, boy, I got no agenda. Just want the team and me, no dirty foreign member. Don't stop.
Lots of influence from Britney Spears.
That ain't been filled yet. I only scream this loud when you do your country proud. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So let them try and break our dream. We fight and love and die at two. So what a Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy. I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions. I've been this wild and free since Mama burdened me. She was only 53, but gave to save her family. There's no one judging me if I'm the one that's in your fantasy. Don't die alone, these babies gonna bring you home. I ain't no vicar's daughter, come and skirmish on my border. Quick before I get much older, tie me down and pull me like an enemy soldier. An enemy soldier. So what if Peter Clemens boys can come and use me as a toy and flip me over, grab my hair, rip off my clothes and dump them there. I wanna see some action, so come and break my sanctions.
Well, if that doesn't distract you from the world outside, I don't know what will. I'd like to thank Lil C for doing that. Don't go anywhere. After the break, we'll finally be revealing the new segment of our show that we just know you're going to love. We'll be back right after this.
Oh,
and we're out.
Almost forgot about the ads. All right, how you doing, The Akamura?
What the fuck?
She must have had tons of fun doing that.
Thank you so much for letting me do this. It really means a lot to me, you know. Yeah. To be able to promote myself on such a mainstream platform like the news.
Well, don't worry about it. And you know what? Good luck for the future. Take care of yourself. This industry can be crazy sometimes. Watch out for that father of yours, won't you?
Oh, no. I manage myself. It's just, you know, for the public to have that certain perspective on me. You know what it's like.
Oh, right.
And Michael?
What was
Michael?
What about Billy Bob Jean Short? Is he?
Oh, my dad. He's such a sweetheart. We both had the same agents, you know, like it just made sense. Both of us for our image together.
Wow.
And Michael, I want to see the revenue share for the clothing line and get me a G&T before my meeting with the lube guys. If they say for your pleasure, I'm going to start needing it.
Oh, good. That's my highest one I've done in that segment.
Well, the fact is, Jen, there weren't enough flowers in my dressing room.
Guess who's back, the Akamura?
As it said in your rider.
Do I look like the sort of person who counts things? No, 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 not anymore. I'm better than that now. I'll tell you what, just keep adding
Mr.
flowers
Bear.
until it feels like 12. Got it?
Absolutely, right.
Notice he's dyed all his hair now, too. This is gonna be a thing, believe me. Enjoy it, the Akamura.
5, 4, 3. Thanks for joining us for part 3. We've been teasing you about our new feature all night, and now the wait is finally over. I can reveal that every night on the show, we'll be treated to an episode of an informative and hilarious new segment called The Notice Board. It stars some top talent, and we're very excited about it. But before we see it, let's have a quick chat with the writer, director, and phenomenon, may I say, Jeff Algebra, guys.
Actually, I've dropped the algebra. I go by Jeff DePloon now. How'd you like that?
Oh, yeah, very fancy. I suppose you need a new name now that you're a successful artiste.
Well, exactly. I'm earning enough to pay taxes now.
Oh.
It's shit.
And how does Angela feel about all this? Your wife. Your wife.
Ah! Oh, God, no. No. No, she's long gone. No, she was holding me back. I'm with Norm now. We were married last month.
Norm de Plume.
Yeah.
And why did you write this? What was your inspiration?
Oh, well, I received a telephone call offering me 25 grand to write a pro-team sitcom. And I heard my father's voice. It said, Jeff, you listen here, boy. You make hay while the sun shines. You wring every penny you can get out of this. So I wheeled him down to the transition centre, got out my typewriter and started clacking. Utter shite.
And without further ado, let's give it up for the notice board.
Good morning, Miss Craven.
Oh, morning, Ray.
Everything all right, Mrs. Craven? You look as worried as the vicar in closing time.
Oh, Ray, it's those young louts. They've vandalised my shop again.
No!
Yes!
That was the wrong one.
They've written all sorts of obscene language and crude pictures, and I know it's
Thumbs
those
down.
damn youths.
I don't know. It could be the vicar at closing time.
I'm just worried they won't ever become productive members of the community. What if they never see the error of their ways and end up as social outcasts, such as shoplifters or bong rats?
Don't worry, Mrs. Craven. This is a very supportive community, and I'm sure that in time they will fit into this society like this key into this lock. See? Works like a charm.
What a lovely way to put it, Ray. And just like that, we can unlock their future.
Yes, yes. Wow! Look at all the letters in my collection today.
Oh, I think that one's addressed to me.
What? This one? Oh, so you're right.
Tommy, stick to sports board.
Here it is.
It's a letter from my granddaughter, Brenda. She says she got an A on her maths exam because one of her friends has been helping her. She was always a team player, was our Brenda.
What's up, losers?
Oh, no. It's Brad. He's the coolest guy in the village.
That's right.
Shockface.
I just got here on my motorbike.
Oh,
wrong thing.
Clear off, Brad. We don't want any of your ilk around here.
What? Rad dudes?
No, ruffians. Have you come to tag the notice board with your gang signs?
No way.
Oh, it was thumbs down.
To pin my
Keep forgetting
resume
it's
on
there.
that notice board. I'm looking to do some tutoring after school.
What did you say? Tutoring?
That's right. Maths is very important. Would you mind, Ray?
Not at all.
Not at all. Shit.
So you, a young person, have been spending your time helping others and not just urinating on churches or huffing glue?
Hey, I haven't huffed glue for months.
Well, blow me down!
You know what? We misjudged you based on how young and cool you are and not on your actions.
No doy.
So it wasn't you who vandalised my shop last night or called me a rancid old crone from the back of a chopper?
No way. It can't have been me. I was too busy helping my friend Brenda with her maths homework.
Could you speak up there? I thought for a minute there that you said Brenda.
I did, you daft old sow.
Did you hear that, Ray?
Oh, yes, what a wonderful surprise. I now respect you as a man.
Put her there, Ray. Oh, what the heck? Give us a hug.
Sorry to interrupt the first groundbreaking episode of
Hack
the
or
notice
not.
board, but we're
Let 'em.
receiving some breaking news. I'm being told we're picking up reports from across the continent of what appear to be nuclear explosions in 4 major foreign cities. Initial estimates put the death toll into the millions. I'm being told that we're experiencing some power fluctuations as a result, so apologies to any interruption to the broadcast for you at home. And now I am told that we are going live to team headquarters for an emergency broadcast from Prime Minister Julia Salisbury at any moment. Yes, let's go to that now.
Good evening, citizens and leaders of the world. Minutes ago, operatives working for Advance detonated nuclear explosives simultaneously in 4 major cities across the continent. We have similar devices in 58 other urban centres and will not hesitate to detonate them if our conditions are not met in full.
Power fluctuations and what could be minor earthquakes throughout the continent. Stand by. We've lost contact with our benefactors in Urkistan and Konoslava. While our equipment seems to be resetting, can we get this confirmed? Can we get this verified? I need this verified. I don't know if you can hear me. I don't know if you are receiving this, but if you are, then you have to know. You have to know what's being done right now to our neighbours. This is unprecedented. Our government has committed multiple acts of mass destruction in our name. Nor do I care how you voted. You didn't vote for this. None of us did. This can't be. We are awaiting further news and, oh, God. What if they respond?
Of our terms by midnight tonight. Thank you.
Well, okay, so there you have it. Advance making a brave move that looks likely to end the war in its 20th week. There's a lot to take in here, and I know you, like me, will be wondering if this is too much. If we've gone too far. But I'm thinking of our sick and ill, denied their medicines, the children with no food on their plates, and the body bags returning from the front line. And I ask myself if, without some big, bold gesture, it would ever stop, and I do not think it ever would. We elected Advance to make this country better for us all, and it was working. But then the rest of the world looked at us and they said this cannot be seen to succeed. And they brought their warships and their tanks and their planes just to make sure that we were instead seen to suffer, to make sure no one anywhere would ever attempt this again. So, to my mind, our government have taken the only path available to them. A difficult decision for their hearts to bear, but one that ultimately we can respect because it is designed to keep us safe. And while this is unquestionably a dark night, it may indeed presage the dawn of a new future. My name's Megan Wolfe. Let's make tomorrow better.
And we're out.
Do you ever get the feeling that you're making history?
I did not get any of those because I made different choices. In mine, she was more on Disrupt's side. That's interesting. How you doing, The Akamura?
Holy shit.
Paul Baverstock, that's Jeremy. Yeah, he knocked it out of the park. Not that Andrea Vels, which is Megan Wolfe, did a bad job, just wow. Yeah, things got real different in this one, didn't they?
Real different.
So what are you thinking so far about it?
Holy fuck.
Right?
Holy fuck.
And that's all we can play for now because they don't have episodes.
Ah!
There is stuff here, which is why I'm letting the cast go, but in a sense, as shitty as COVID is, obviously, I mean that thing that's going around, that is the main reason why Not for Broadcast isn't done yet, because they had to go in lockdown in the UK, and there was a lot of you know, there were more stringent lockdowns in the UK than there were here in the US. So they couldn't do a lot of the recording, and the game's taking much longer as a result. But in my opinion, that's fine because it's just making me hungrier for part 3. And as much as I want it done now, that's only in the sense of it's
the fucking
so
national
good.
anthem playing on the goddamn credits?
Yeah.
This is Alan James. The revolution starts tonight, Alex. And we need your help.
We're so proud to be here today on this, the 500-day anniversary of the...
It's time to choose. Alex, whose side are you on?
like that we let him hack the entire time because it's spoken to Alan James's character.
Yeah.
Why is there a fucking headstone with my last name on it?
But before we go, one final thought.
And of course, there was the convenient plant that was in front of the first name of the headstone.
And I'm Den.
Hey, it's the devs.
It's Zoom background.
Hello, everybody.
Sorry, boys. We're the developers of Not For Broadcast, and we want to thank you so much for supporting our little game so far. We're now 2/3 of the way through the story.
But as we film this in January 2021, the UK is back in lockdown.
We don't know when we'll next be able to film with a full cast and crew. So once again, we have to ask you to please be patient with us. And if you want to talk to us in the meantime, come chat with us on Discord at discord.gg/notforbroadcast. We stream on Twitch every first and third Thursday of the month at twitch.tv/NotGamesUK. We always check the Steam forums for any suggestions or problems you may have.
And we read every Steam review, even the horrible ones, because your opinion matters to us.
So all that remains to say is thank you so much for playing our weird little game.
And
see you in episode 3. Probably, if I have come up with a cure by then, I will let you know. Last time it didn't go so well for me.
Good evening, I'm Megan Wolf.
And I'm Jeremy Dawes.
Alright, so let's check our end of level report just for my own. Ooh. So again, the only one I'm blowing is the frickin' music. I always blow the music sequences because I can't get it on beat. But you've got a small bonus, The Akamura. You were broke-ass poor. Now you're well off. Also because you played the Eye of the Beholder ad. So you're doing okay money-wise.
Why was I broke-ass poor? What happened?
You had to pay all that money for the private nurse. Yeah, it takes a big chunk out of your wealth. And Disrupt likes you, Advance doesn't, but the channel is very trusted, so you're in okay shape if you're playing anti-Advance. So yeah. Anyway, my final thoughts here.
I'm not even really playing anti-Advance. I'm anti-bullshit, and right now, Advance is synonymous with bullshit.
Exactly, especially since, as Jam just pointed out. Which, sorry, Jam, for not acknowledging you earlier. I did see you were here. As Jam says, killing millions of people for something that... and having civilians caught in the explosions just because they're going scorched earth. Like, that's seriously messed up.
Mm-hmm.
So, there are a bunch of different ways the individual parts of the story can go. And apologies to anyone that my mods were deleting for your spoilers. I just want people to buy the game.
Yes.
If you want to see other ways this game can go, please buy it. And again, I am more than happy to admit they gave me the game for free, but when Not For Broadcast was first advertised, I was going to buy it anyway. The fact that they gave me a key is very kind. But this is a game I support wholeheartedly, not just because they gave me a key. It's a damn good story. It's right up there with Papers, Please, in my opinion, as far as the mechanics and everything else goes. The humor is solid, the writing is chef's kiss, but the whole package is fantastic.
Yes.
Please go buy this. There's a link in the video description. Also, one thing the developers didn't say at the end there, they also have a Twitter account. I believe it's at NotGamesUK. So check them out there as well. So, and by the way, I'm not paid for this either, beyond the game getting for free. I've never received $1 from any devs for the entire lifetime of this channel, and I never will. So I love this game. It's really good, and I want to give it as much support as I can. Hell, if Not Games UK needs an American voice actor who will work for cheap, I'll fucking throw my voice into it, because
we will throw our hats in the ring.
I want to see this game succeed. So that's why we're also only ever going to do this one playthrough of it on the channel. I encourage you to go buy it. Right now it's on sale, 25% off. Just go. grab it. All right, so that'll probably do it unless you have any more final thoughts there, the Akamura, about
Nothing
what
that
we've seen
isn't
and-
heavily political.
Yeah, let's keep real world politics out of
Yes, this is not the place for them.
But yeah, lots of places the thing can go. The overall story arc is the same regardless, but like I said, I've played this twice, and the Akamura was making choices and seeing things that I hadn't seen yet. So there's a lot of content here. So that's going to do it for today. Although I suppose I'm going to give a little bonus look real quick. There is one thing I will do that's a little of an alternate path. I have to load up one of my other games to do it. The last time we played, the last stream we did, there was a song called Mr. Bear, What's That Over There? And at the time I was informed there were 3 versions of the song, Mr. Bear, What's That Over There? So as a little bonus, I'm going to play one of the versions that was not played the last time. This is called the Surreal version of it, just for fun, and then we'll call the stream, because I've had the song stuck in my head for a while, and now I want it stuck in everybody else's head, especially Mark's, because he and I were screaming the lyrics at each other in Discord when we listened to it. So it'll start the same way, but things get weird. So we'll play this to kind of soften the blow, and then we'll call it for the night. The Akamura is liking this version as
Right, I'll
well.
just fill then, shall I? Coming up in a moment, it's the world premiere that nobody saw coming. Or wanted. At all. I can only apologise in advance for what we're all about to endure.
Where's the button on this fucking... Ah!
Well, there's all sorts of creatures down on Dangly Doodle Farm. Like wise old Mr. Octopus with way too many arms. There's Mr. Pig and Mr. Cow, they're always in good moods. But that's 'cause they don't know they'll soon be sliced up into food. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your hopes go to turn into despair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's where your dreams go to die. Mr. Raccoon wants to go to the moon. He'll end up as a bus driver soon. Mr. Porcupine thinks he'll read the news at 9. He'll end up as a janitor who thinks of turpentine. Please do not applaud, I'm a massive fraud. Shacked up with the agent while the wife thinks I'm abroad.
You said you were done.
Oh, I say that to everyone. Sometimes when I'm tipsy, me and Angela still have fun. Mr. Bear, I don't even care. Sonia takes it up the bum and shaves her pubic hair. Mr. Bear,
That's an overshare. That was for your birthday and you're never going back there.
Mr. Bear, I'm in disrepair. Didn't check my prostate, now it started sprouting there.
Mr. Bear, I have private health care, 90 pairs of shoes and 30 different types of cookware.
Mr. Bear, I feel laissez-faire. Maybe when the lockdown lifts, I'll hit on the au pair.
Mr. Bear, I don't mean to swear, but I'll give a fucking nickel for a lock of Johnny's hair.
Mr. Bear, what a lovely chair. Mr. Bear, you've got the news caught up in your hair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? Mr. Bear, Mr. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's a hat entirely made of avocado pear. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That is a cutlery pie. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That's the sound a mushroom makes opening a deck chair. Mr. Bear, what's that over there? That is a suit for a fly. That is a goat in a tie. That is a dream when you fry.
This game is absurd, and I love it.
It's the best.
There is a line. God, that's got to be weird to hold a position that long.
I think that went well.
Yeah, that totally went well. That's another thing they have on Steam. They come to think of it, with this lockdown episode, they have a mini documentary about how they made and coordinated this lockdown episode, given that they all had to record in different locations. So it's amazing. Oh, Julia's here. Yes, the actor who plays Julia is here. Hello. Thank you for joining us. Right as I'm ending the stream, but still, I appreciate it. Yeah, you can see it down here. Watch the documentary for early access. You can see how they recorded from a billion different locations in order to do the lockdown episode. It's amazing.
Your performance was amazing in this episode, like seriously.
Yeah, especially the speeches at the end when you were thdelivering the news about what Advance is doing, what with the devices and such. So, cool boy. Geez, now that she's here, I don't want to end the stream, but I'm out of gameplay. So yes, go check out Not for Discord or Not for Broadcast on Discord, on Twitter and everything. And you can come to my Discord as well. My links are in the video description as well. I will pimp every link to support Not for Broadcast start to finish because I love this game. And I would be willing to lend my voice, or probably not. They probably don't care about some random American YouTuber. But
if you do care about some random American YouTubers,
I would be here, and the Akamura will be here to support this game because we love it so freaking much. And I cannot wait for it to be finished, but I also hope everyone takes their time and stays safe and gets it done right.
Yes, take care of yourselves.
Yep. So that will do it for today. Thank you all very much for watching. Claire is now my second favorite is tied for the favorite now since she and George Ver have showed up to streams. And we will see you again next week for another stream here on YouTube. Thank you, everybody.
Bye.